Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we want to present to you the inauguration of Donald Trump as the new President of the United States of America. The United States of America is the most consequential country in the world. Every newspaper has stories about America. What the President of the United States says has consequences globally. And so it is very important that we highlight the inauguration and the speech of Donald Trump in this his inauguration is very, very important. So for our people that for back home, una welcome. One for sure na the inauguration of Donald Trump, it can be installed and sworn in as the next president of the United States of America, replacing Joe Biden. America and Donald Trump are the most influential person for the world. Whether you go for China, for Japan, everywhere in Africa, you open newspaper, the American news now you go there for front page, which way the America they do it affect all life everywhere. And especially for diplomatic push international relation, the American government they carry the large burden, whether not for global protection, whether not for push for human rights. So this one will be very, very important. All will be welcome for this special edition we want to present for now, the inauguration of Donald Trump. We will also talk a little bit about the implication for Donald Trump presidency on the Ambazonian struggle or the struggle for the people of the Southern Cameroon and many other conflicts across the globe. And we will also address the lies of the AGOVC about being invited to the inauguration, showing you people some of the video and much more. So you are all welcome. My name na Capo Daniel. Na me be the chairman of PRAP, the People's Right Advocative Platform, where they push the people's right first above every other thing. We will go straight for the video for Donald Trump inauguration.
It is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you the 45th and the 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
So it's a very big day for America and the world and for conservatives across the globe. Myself, as a conservative, I have supported Donald Trump's presidential campaign because I believe, as a conservative, that he is the best champion for the values that I stands for. I disregard anything about his character, what people have portrayed in the media, but this is somebody who champions the main things that most of us conservatives and Christians and Jews and Muslims and most religious people stands for. The whole idea about this promoting of homosexuality as an identity has always been very, very controversial. Mind you that the right of people who practice homosexuality should be a private thing. I'm not one of those who support that people should be prosecuted or sent to court or prison because of their sexual orientation. But the whole idea that the gender of human beings should be neutralized because of people's sexuality is not something that I've sat well with a lot of people across the globe. And we have seen Russia, Vladimir Putin, being very strong conservative, talking about these values and has won him a lot of support for people across the globe and in most religious cycles. So Donald Trump represents a big victory for those who champions conservative value and for majority of people who want common sense. This his speech is what I want to call he also mentioned in his speech the revolution of common sense. The revolution of common sense. We are going to get deep into what he said in his inaugural speech. This one is like the one I like a manifesto, which way he represent or how he see a presidency for represent for the globe. So I want me could have watched very well. I hadn't cut the video to present to you people the parts of the speech that really concerns the people of the Southern Cameroon and majority of us Africans. So please pay attention to this speech. Let's go ahead.
Thank you very much, everybody. Well, thank you very, very much. Vice President Vance, Speaker Johnson, Senator Thune, Chief Justice Roberts, Justices of the United States Supreme Court, President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, President Biden, Vice President Harris, and my fellow citizens. The golden age of America begins right now.
The golden age of America begins right now. So I will break it down. It is about 7 minutes clip that I've edited to present to you the most relevant part of Donald Trump's speech. So you can see behind him all the former president of the United States, with the exception of the wife of Obama, Michelle Obama, who did not attend this inauguration, and she also did not attend the funeral of Jimmy Carter because she really doesn't like Donald Trump, and that is really not a very good image. But the fact that in the United States of America, all the former presidents are there behind him. He is the 47th president of America, while in many African countries Cameroon have only known 2 presidents. So this is a very straight contrast to what is happening back in Africa, and should inspire our people on how modern and civilized countries can live and govern themselves. That despite the divides in politics, despite the opposition, you can find former presidents sitting together in the same room with all the concentration of power in the United States of America. Everybody is there. And that's how it should be, not a situation where political opponents or opposition party members are considered as enemy to the state. In Cameroon, in particular, if you are of the opposition, you are risking your life. You take risks to be an opposition leader, but that is not how things are supposed to be. America is a beacon of hope. It is like a city planted on a hilltop where people can look at the light and reflect on how they are living their life. We should not just accept what it is in Africa, but we must look to what things ought to be inspired and push for the same back to our people. So let's watch the video and be inspired. And it's very good that he acknowledged all the former presidents in the United States, the power of the judiciary, the power of the legislature, which is very important to be an independent institution on its own. The division of power in America is an example that has worked and has ushered in the greatest development, the greatest breakthrough in science in modern day history, in the history of humanity. America is a superpower because of this dynamic. They have created this environment of freedom where human development and civilization have thrived. And that should be an example for everybody who aspires to live in a civilized country, a country that progresses to be like the United States of America. Let's watch the clip.
From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first. We will.
So that is what he's all about. I'm going to continue the speech that is more relevant, but his idea of putting America first should be what every leader in the world should be able to do, putting your country first. Unlike in Africa, where many African countries from the French colonies have presidents that are being supported and backed by France to put the French interests first in those countries, people would want their leaders, their country, to have somebody to lead them that put their interests and their country's interests first. We know that the influence of America is very, very important. We all need a gendarme, the rule of a gendarme, the rule of an international power that backs international treaty and makes sure that there is no chaos across the globe. So we really want American influence across the globe. In Africa, where dictatorship have grown so powerful, that the people are hopeless to make any meaningful change. Whether you look in Uganda, or Cameroon and many other dictatorships, even in Rwanda, that the president is doing a fantastic job there. The people themselves have no say in who leads those countries. And those are the rights of every human being to be able to choose their own leader that we see in America, leaders that can put their country first. Let's go ahead to listen to the rest of the speech.
Put America first. We will move with purpose and speed to bring back hope, prosperity, safety, and peace for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
So when I hear this is Donald Trump, they talk about how the American government under the administration will move to bring protection for all and defend all color for people and for their country. Whether you are black, whether you are white, whether you are Christian, whether you are Muslim, the American government will protect and defend your right. This one is stress, a big contrast with countries like Islamic countries, where they be so proud for talking their country not get no Christian. We don't see for most Islamic countries them how they destroy churches, burn down churches, kill Christians, and wipe out any community where it be different from their Islamic country, Islamic culture. If you look at an example like Lebanon, where we've been a big Christian country for the Middle East, most of the Christians, they did not either be killed, wiped out, or driven out of the country. For Syria, even in Somalia, in Africa. So this is a big contrast with what we see even in our own West African and even in most Black African states, where nepotism is being promoted by French government primarily. And even without French government, you look at it in Uganda, Mussolini is grooming his children to take over power. And he's not even backed by the French. That is just an African leader pushing nepotism, tribalism. We should aspire to live in a country where there is equitable, equal opportunities for people from all village. Everybody who works hard, study hard, should have an equal chance or a reasonable, fair chance to succeed. The government or any regime in place should not be a barrier, should not be based on tribalism. Whether it is a Paul Biya regime whose core base is the Bulu Beti clan, America is seen as a government that protects everybody. It's admirable. It's very admirable. You go across the globe, you don't see such type of government approach to governance. So let us watch the rest of the speech, and I will begin to give this commentary as we go ahead.
It is my hope that our recent presidential election will be remembered as the greatest and most consequential election in the history of our country.
So Donald Trump did talk say the election will be the most consequential because the changes the way it will bring up for America, it will change the whole face and approach for America for a very long time. And that is just true. He has a mandate, what he has campaigned on, what he intends to do, a very, very drastic change in America. America way, it can be held down by this secular culture, which was ushered in during the period of Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, where they push a social agenda to force people then to accept homosexuality as an identity. Everybody feel understand why people the way they be, the LGBTQ, lesbian and gays, they want to have the right not to be prosecuted. But the extent which they have gone to push it as a social norm, even try to redefine marriage, push it in schools where our children today are exposed to this social engineering is something that a lot of people have not accepted across Africa and across the world. They have successfully pushed right up to the extent where the Pope and the Vatican is now even capitulating to accept homosexuality in the church. These are all absurd things that we have watched for a long time, and Donald Trump's stance have been the best fighter against this social engineering, which a lot of people have been shy against. So the journey for Donald Trump, now the journey for many people then like we, who would understand for speak the truth, stand for speak things with value, will never bow down for the social pressure for people then for speak the truth or for accept a specific way. So Donald Trump really represents a lot of people, and a lot of people see their struggle through Donald Trump against all odds. person where they try for prosecute for crimes the way he never commit them, investigative for kind crime the way he never commit them. Against all odds, the vast majority of America, they don't vote for being president of America. Overwhelmingly, he get the highest population where they support it. So Donald Trump be real, the population be real, those who they support it, them be real. Those who they be talking a racist person, like person who don't like black people and all those stuffs, those lies which have no substantiation. They have tried to use the media to define him, but he has defined himself. And today he even honor black people and Hispanic people as the main people where they thank them and credit them for a victory. This one have reinforced the idea, saying a man of principle and a very wonderful person, despite the characterization by the media, either overcome and it show hope for everybody where stand for the truth, where stand for value. Say you too, you can overcome such challenges. Let's listen to the rest of his speech.
As our victory showed, the entire nation is rapidly unifying behind our agenda with dramatic increases in support from virtually every element of our society, young and old, men and women, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, urban, suburban, rural, and very importantly, we had a powerful win in all 7 swing states, and the popular vote, we won by millions of people.
So this is just amazing. Imagine Donald Trump recognizing Asians, all the various races that lives in America and American citizens. So the whole issue about nationalism is very important because when he's talking about alien or people, the Americans, they call foreigners aliens. In China, they call them foreigners. And in many other countries, they call them foreigners as well. Or illegal migrants, they have different names across the globe. So when he's talking about Chinese people, talking about African people, talking about those people, it is not because he hates those races, as you can clearly see. It is talking about because America includes Chinese people, they include black people, people of all race. But the issue of America is the American citizens, their right, their primary protection under their state, economic protection, social protection that the president of the United States is sworn in to protect and to push for their interests. So when he condemns people who are trying to come into America, it is not because he's racist or he hates those people from those races. It is just he's simply trying to defend the interests of the citizens of that country. Nevertheless, let us watch the rest of his speech.
To the Black and Hispanic communities, I want to thank you for the tremendous outpouring of love and trust that you have shown me with your vote. We set records, and I will not forget it. I've heard your voices in the campaign, and I look forward to working with you in the years to come. Today is Martin Luther King Day, and his honor, this will be a great honor, but in his honor, we will strive together to make his dream a reality. We will make his dream come true.
So as you can see, this is Donald Trump on the most important speech for his life, for the state of America, delivering thanks to the black people, recognizing Martin Luther King, a symbol for resistance against racism, for somebody who fought for an America. He said, I have a dream where blacks and white can walk hand in hand. This is Donald Trump's vision. This is his heart. This is what he represents, to defend the right of blacks and white people to live together in harmony, to fight against segregation, to fight against discrimination, to fight against anything that we have fought for, including the black people. So for anybody who have been consumed by this propaganda on CNN and many other socially engineered websites who make fake news about Donald Trump being a racist person who hates black people, can definitely see that somebody who expresses such reverence to Martin Luther King and pledges in such an important speech to uphold the dreams and the principle of Martin Luther King and to make sure that dream is a reality in America should have no doubt about who Donald Trump is and should always know that people are not defined just by social media or by journalists and manipulation. But if you stand firm on your word, you stand firm on who you are as a person, eventually the truth comes out and you will prevail, as Donald Trump have shown. Indeed, there is God. So let us continue to watch the remainder of the speech. You can see the statue of Martin Luther King right there.
Excellence and unrelenting success. We will not forget our country. We will not forget our Constitution. And we will not forget our God.
Very, very important. We will not forget our Constitution. The Constitution of the United States is their document, it is their law, it's a founding document that gives them that platform to become president in the first place and have the freedoms that they have. So he has pledged to uphold the Constitution. For all those who talk say he will never work with the Constitution, he will make his own laws, those are just unfounded things that people have been saying against him. As you can hear, he's pledging to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America and God. It'd be very important because even in America, you find that we have lived a period where the Ten Commandments have been removed from classroom, prayers have been banned from schools. There have been a campaign against Christians and against religion as a whole. Bibles that used to be in hotel rooms have been removed, and we have seen how promiscuity, materialism have dominated the world. Atheists, people who don't believe in God, have promoted all type of witchcraft across the world. And the peak has always been the Democrats. It started with Bill Clinton, Obama came, and for the first time in the United States during Obama, during the celebration of Christmas, the word Christ was removed from Christmas and it was written Xmas. So this secular agenda should stop. It is not good at all. And everybody who loves God, no matter your religion, should acknowledge, even people who don't really believe in God or have a relationship with God or practice religion, they have a big reverence for religion, because religion is the greatest restraint of human greed, ego, and even the acts of violence. It restrains individual and it creates a society where people can strive. Yes, there have been some war that have been caused by religious belief, but in the depth of every war is greed, not just religion itself. It's just an excuse. So people should understand that God is very important. We want God to remain in the dollar, the currency that says in God we trust. We want people to be able to pray in schools for the 10 commandments that have inspired the laws of the United States and the laws of the war on human rights should remain a prominent document. Even in Cameroon, the Constitution of Cameroon says that the Bible, the Quran, our tradition are all sources of laws that are accepted to the society. These are sources. They don't mean that they should be law on their own. So it's very critical. Even if you are an atheist, you don't believe in God, it's very important to respect the rule that God has, or that the concept of God plays in every nation. It's very, very important to see God back. We see Billy Graham, the son of Billy Graham, praying during this inaugural speech. He is one of those people whose father have inspired me as a young man. I was part of the four spiritual law campaign of Billy Graham to make sure that Christianity and evangelism reach the four corners of the world. So this is a great victory for conservatives, great victory for people who have faith, Islamic, religion, Jewish, Christians. All of them should have a breath of fresh air listening to Donald Trump. So maybe we'll continue with the speech.
Can't do that. Today, I will sign a series of historic executive orders. With these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America and the revolution of common sense. It's all about
The revolution of common sense. I just love that word, the revolution of common sense. So this is what Donald Trump is going to do. He will announce certain changes which are going to be very fundamental and historic in the United States of America. So for all man for Ground Zero, which way Donald Trump will actually do, starting from day one. Now the Lord, and this way he go sign them, where he go start for happen now. Make gonna listen very carefully, especially our brother the way they live for America. Make gonna hear very carefully which way he do, which way he go do, which way he go start happen for America.
common sense. First, I will declare a national emergency at our southern border.
So Donald Trump would declare an emergency for the southern border for United States. That means say for the border for Mexico. For that place where plenty people that they try to go for America, where they even work as someone who food, they pay money, go for Mexico, try to work out food, go cross border for enter for inside America. The huge population they come for the thousands and thousands of people that they come for they for enter for America for look for a good life. Donald Trump, he go talk say he go close that border, he go stop them. Why it be important for people then for migrate? It can also be a very negative thing for Africa and for change across the globe. Because somehow the youth, when they're supposed to be the pressure for get new jobs in the country, they don't see traveling abroad as an easy way out for the challenges the way they face back home. And for many dictatorships, them it can be a welcome thing, say me use them be facilitated to leave their country instead of remaining and applying political pressure. Why me, I'm a diaspora who left my country. We tried to fight the system. It didn't really work and it didn't really pick steam. But if we were all forced to stay back in our countries, we would have been forced to fight even harder. Imagine the population over 4 million of our people who are out in the diaspora. If those 4 million people had stayed back home and we could not have jobs, we focused in our own countries, we could have made changes that had not been made today. So it is a welcome thing that the Americans will block their border so that we can face our own reality back home and not just escape to foreign countries to look for a better life. And for those who are actually fighting to look for a better life, it is a noble thing to do. But for the greater good, it is better for us to go back home and face the demons that we have left home. That is how Africans got their independence, because the pressure was internal, the oppression was internal, and they had no choice but to fight. If we always find that there is a choice to go to the next neighbor, to the next country to look for better life, change will never come. Dictators will be very comfortable where they are. So let us hear the changes that are going to happen in America. So he will declare a state of emergency. When they declare a state of emergency, it means that the government get right to do plenty things away. They not do them under normal law or constitutional guarantee them. It will be an emergency action where you go take them. We go here. I want to hear people in plan. The vast Americans support this idea across party line. They support this idea to close their border, to stop the migration into America. That's why he was elected.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came.
So Donald Trump talks that they will stop their border, they will block their border. Me no man no enter again for inside America illegally. And then any man where that enter for inside America illegally, that means you pass through you enter for America on foot, or you enter for America where you don't respect the law. That means they consider you like you've been a criminal. They go catch you and they go send you back for place where you come out. But America gets system for refugee claim, where people the way they face torture, persecution, and politically persecuted people, they apply for protection under American law. So this is what he's saying, that they are going to deport people who have committed crime, who came into America illegally. This will not apply to people the way they don't already seek protection under American asylum system, where they don't be given asylum papers, their case they be processed. Those people are considered as now documented, not criminals, because they came into the border illegally. But those who come inside America illegally for look for job, then just enter America, they find odd jobs and all this type of things, they will face a mass deportation from Donald Trump. People then too, they don't commit crime while in America, they will be targeted by Donald Trump for deportation.
We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy.
So remain in Mexico policy means that if you come apply for asylum for America, you come through Mexico, then catch you for border, they're not going to allow you to enter for America as they used to do. They will allow you to enter, take your document, give you court date and all those things that will follow up your case. So then eventually they will release you. Now they will return you back for Mexico, for place where you enter America for inside. They will create CAMSM or center them for process your case while in America. So they will return you back for America for while in Mexico. They will return you back for Mexico for go wait for the result for your case. Me then check whether truly you get a genuine case for asylum before the fee accept you, maybe you come for America. That is what will happen.
I will end the practice of catch and release.
So it will end the practice of catch and release. It means that when you come for inside America, then catch you, then check you, you talk, say you run a war or you come because you face persecution back home, all these ajoro things them. They will be forced to release you because wait, they will process your case. Why your case go, they will give you bail or they will release you, you come back for court, they will process your case. Now the system now we done it for America for decades. Donald Trump talks say he go stop that one. It means say if you enter for America illegally, you go apply for asylum, they catch you, they not go release you. They will hold you until they go finish, check your case, and then determine whether indeed you are a refugee or not.
And I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country.
So Donald Trump talks say he go send army them for their border, me them go block their border because he consider these two plenty people that they come for America like an invasion. Under international law, there is a scope, it is legal for him to consider that as an invasion. When you find a substantial amount that can change the demography of your country, trying to get in, you can stick, there are grounds where you can consider those as an invasion. So Donald Trump, they consider those crowd that they come for enter America like an invasion for a country where if you use the military to protect their border. For Russia, for China, for North Korea, and many other countries, they cannot allow you to cross their border and walk across the border. They will shoot you down. So these are things that are under international consideration. Every country have a sovereign right to determine who comes in and who does not comes in their border. You cannot just walk across the border of France without being arrested, without being facing a threat of their military that protects their border. You cannot just walk across the border. In many countries, it is the right of America to do what they want with their border. So let's listen.
Under the orders I signed today, we will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
So this one is very important, designating cartels. Cartels, now this gang for criminal gangs, where they extort money for people, then for help them for bring them through border, where they sell drugs for America. Cartels, they never be considered as terrorist group. Terrorism then be defined by mainly groups like Hamas, Al-Qaeda, where they get a political objective. Then they use terror for terrorize population for attain that political objective. For now start defining cartels as terrorist group, I think it is a welcome thing that majority of people have advocated around the world. Because if you have criminal gangs who are terrorizing people in their country, they are terrorists. It does not matter their political agenda, so to say, which has been the internationally practiced in defining which group is a terrorist group or not. You look in Mexico, the amount of killing being done by these cartels, some of these cartels are more stronger even than the government. So this will be a new era, and it will open a Pandora box for many conflicts across the globe, where there are groups that use terror against civilians as a means to control those populations, especially the AGOVC and what we see in Cameroon today and what we see in Nigeria. Groups that are using terror against their population, not persuasion. In Ambazonia, in Cameroon, in southern Cameroon, we have a scenario where our people were called to observe Ghost Town. Our people were called to observe a boycott in school. We did that successfully by advocating, by doing the hard job of activists, teaching and educating our people, sometimes using propaganda to convince them to stay in line and obey this concept of mass control to make a political point for a political objective. Those things have evolved. We have now seen people, both in Cameroon and Nigeria, using terror against population as a means of control to make a political point or push a political agenda. While the international practice have been not to label such actions as acts of terrorism, now Donald Trump is saying that they will be labeling cartels. Cartels are groups that organize themselves out of the law or constitutionally recognized law of a country to extort money from people, and they use terror in the process. So groups in Ground Zero in Cameroon and Nigeria, Ambazonia and Biafra, that uses terror on their own population for political objectives, and those groups are engaged in cartel-like activities like extorting money for their own survival, taking protection money. Those groups are now exposed to a possible United States designation as terrorist organization, which is something that was not possible in the past. If such a thing was to happen and Donald Trump have this policy as a president, and you have other Americans or other states in Africa lobbying for the United States of America to consider groups within their country that uses arms as resistance and also uses force as mind control, population control, that Pandora box is something that our people should be pondering and be very much aware of.
This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life.
This is something that I'm so happy about.
We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
Meritocracy, colorblind, equal opportunity. This has always been the stance of conservatives across the globe, which is what I believe in. We should have a merit-based society where people are given opportunity because they are smart. Smart kids should be given scholarships, given opportunity to study, not because they come from rich family or they come from some prestigious family. They should have prestigious access to certain universities. No. And in the past, people have used this to try to balance up the historic wrong against Black people, that they say that they use affirmative action to secure position for Blacks and other minorities within certain schools. But we have overcome those challenges, I think, as humanity, to be able to live in a society where things are merit-based, not people given opportunity because they're a member of a political party, they're a member of a tribe, member from a royal family, but opportunities should be out of merit. People who are more competent should be given the opportunity to serve their community, and that is how you have an optimal community where they progress. Even more important is the social engineering about homosexuality, which he's about to talk about. Let's listen.
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
So this is the greatest victory for everybody like myself who have been supporting Donald Trump for what we believe in the issue of gender. It should be limited to male or female. This idea that people, because of their sexuality, they want to transform the definition of a gender to include the LGBTQ is just wrong. It's not common sense. We know that a human is either a boy or a girl. There are some exceptions where people are born with double genitals. Those ones we can understand, and the need for them to have transgender things going on. But for people who are born like a boy or a girl, they cannot turn around and say a boy is now a girl and start trying to participate in sports that are only meant for girls, or women trying to participate in sports that are meant for women, or even trying to use the bathroom. It's very inconvenient. It's not common sense. We all know that from tradition and from biology, genital is the foundation of gender identity. That means when the child is born, they look at the genitals of the child. If the child have a male organ or the child get bangala, we say that this is a boy. If the child get nabings, we say that this is a woman based on their genitals. So gender should be genital based. It is common sense. It is science. This idea that because of your sexuality, you're a boy, you start to say that you feel like a woman, you're a woman, you start to say you feel like a man. So you want to say you are a man, you start dressing like a man. You have the freedom to do that. But we cannot force the whole society or the whole world to change the definition of a gender to accommodate people's psychological and their feelings or emotional state of mind. Nobody is saying that they are trying to punish people for being who they are sexually. No. But when it comes to identity, it is based on gender, genitalia. And it is also the basis for the growth of a society. Human race is based on reproduction, our ability to reproduce and safeguard our own species. And this act of reproduction is based on heterosexual sexuality, man and woman coming together And the family unit is an essential unit of every society, the building block of our own species. And that institution of marriage must be protected. People who have this type of homosexuality going on, they can seek other protection under the law for their rights for property, inheritance, and all those stuff. But they cannot define the institution of marriage to include all those their things, because marriage is an institution born from procreation. It's an institution born to safeguard our species, because we need to reproduce so that everybody do not die and human race comes to an end. So this is a very welcome speech and a big victory for Christians, Muslims, Hindus, and whatever religion you practice. This is a big victory for us all, especially for me. I've been supporting Donald Trump because I believe he is the only person capable of standing against the bullies that have been pushing down the throat this idea that we must accept, not just to live our life, but accept the lifestyle of other people.
Governing Council.
So that was the speech, the wonderful speech of Donald Trump. And now we want to say that we look forward to see the changes that will be coming our way. And we have already taken measures to try to engage Donald Trump's administration, even during their transition issue. Some of those issues are not subject for our presentation for tonight. But it's a wonderful speech, a wonderful big victory. The American people have made their statement, they have made their say, and all the debate around Donald Trump should come to an end. People should accept the will of the American people of their own choice. Donald Trump have been supported by the vast majority, have the highest vote anybody in the history of America has ever had as a president. Surpasses the amount of people that vote for Obama, that vote for Bill Clinton. He's the most popular president that have lived in America today. The people should accept that. Everybody who had been fed by propaganda about his character should be silent and accept this reality. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us go back to our problem in Southern Cameroon, in Ambazonia, where the Ambazonian Governing Council, the AGOVC of Ayabacho, who is currently in prison in Norway, awaiting trial for inciting crimes against humanity, the AGOVC have come out to say that they were invited to this ceremony. According to our research and inquiry, because those who have been officially invited are all listed. That means you can search the list of everybody who have been officially invited to participate in this ceremony. The AGOVC was not invited to participate in this ceremony by those who organized the ceremony or the United States government. All the invitees of the United States government are official. That means you have an official invitation and they have a verifiable list of invitees. We have verified it with our international partners to check if the United States as a government invited the AGOVC. They did not invite the AGOVC. So the AGOVC is claiming that a member of the high official government official in the United States invited them. So they are not. It is not the American government that invited them. It is not Donald Trump government that invited them or Joe Biden that invited them. They say a high-level official of the United States have invited them. That is also not true, because if they have been invited as an organization, we would know those information will be available. That is not true. But what we know is that the AGOVC have secured a lobbyist, somebody to lobby for them. This is the most low-class lobbyist person we can ever identify around the world. Since I left this organization, their desperation have taken them down a rabbit hole, and they should realize themselves. We have made mockery of Sako Ekome, who went and picked one old man in America and come and announce to the people that they have instituted a lobby to help Ambazonia to have its independence. We all know that that was lie. Me at the time with AGOVC, we make mockery of that. We saw Atanganji Paul in Cameroon going to France and bringing some old people to portray them as people who were representing the Transparency International, which was all lies. So if the AGOVC start to deceive our people, to give them false hope, This is very, very bad. So I want to play the video that they wanted to prove that they have been invited to the to the Donald Trump inauguration as an organization. For them to prove what I said that they were not invited, they brought the lobbyist himself, one white Asian, he looked like an Asian guy, coming to say that they have invited them there. No, he should show the invitation. I actually stumbled on some invitation of some Ambazonians or Southern Cameroonians or Anglophones that were invited to this organization. One of them is Nicolas Santos. Nicolas Santos was invited to the inauguration of Donald Trump. He posted the picture of his invitation with his name on it. I could not still get it again on his Facebook page, but I will try to reach out to him to get that picture so that I can show it to you people. The AGOVC was not invited. It means that if somebody in the AGOVC was even invited, we will not rest. But this is what I found online. After I try again to look at his page, I could not see it. Not that I support the stance of Nicolas Santos, I just use him as an example. So this is a screenshot of Santos, one of his Facebook that I just saw. This is an award given to Santos by Joe Biden, signed by Joe Biden. We all know that Nicolas Santos, who used to work with Sako Ekome, is today joined the DDR people or whatever, he's joined the CPDM people. He's people that we consider as people who have abandoned the struggle. So this is somebody have a signed recognition by Joe Biden. So the AGOVC should stop giving our people false hope, selling false hope to our people that they have invited them in America in the inauguration of Donald Trump when they have not. So this is just to show you. It means if the AGOVC had people like David Makongo, remember this is David Makongo, shaking hands with Paul Kagame, shaking hands with the president of Senegal, many other people he has met. So if David Makongo was an AGOVC person, they will become and selling this thing to the Ambazonian people that they are now having relationship with Rwanda. All these things, this type of propaganda, negative propaganda that has no end group is very bad. Because propaganda should be based on some tangible, real prospect, not just on false hope. The AGOVC, their leader, is being tried for crimes against humanity. He has been banned from getting into America or from Canada. He's a criminal. He has committed crimes against our own people that all of us know. The imposition of taxi color have led to the death of how many taxi men? The burning of 9 taxi and several other private commercial vehicles in our country. They have burned traditional palaces in our country. Publicly, summarily execute people committing war crimes in plain daylight. And they want to come and tell people that people should believe in them, that they can give us independence. No, they cannot. They cannot release Ayabacho, let alone give us independence. So that is a false hope they want to get from people who are less educated, people who are not informed from our country, to believe in them or trust them that they can deliver on anything. They cannot. I was working with them. I know how far they have gone. I will tell you eventually the good things that the AGOVC have done so that you people have a fair appreciation of what is going on without being blindsided or being buying into a false hope. Remember that people who come and lie to you think less of you. People who come and manipulate and distort, misrepresent themselves to you are people who are scamming you. So let us listen to this presentation from the AGOVC. When I came out, I said that they were not invited to the inauguration. To prove that they were invited, they did not come to show any invitation that carries their name, officially inviting them by the United States government or a top government official in the United States. Instead, they produced a video that they have circulated from this lobbyist who is representing them. So let us watch the
Governing Council speaking. Good evening. My name is Elias Sharsulis, and I'm the lobbyist for the Ambazonia Governing Council, speaking to you on this Saturday, January 18th, 2025. It is a great honor to address you ahead of the inauguration of President Donald J. Trump. the Ambazonian Governing Council has made history by being invited to the inauguration of President Trump by senior officials of the U.S. government, a historic first, and it is my honor to be a part of the council who are from.
So that one are the proof where the AGOVC one can show people and say they invite them for Donald Trump inauguration. First of all, I want to tell you, say for be invited for Donald Trump inauguration, now a normal thing, all man be invited, now public place where all man figure there. But for get invitation letter, now another thing. You get tickets. Tickets no be official invitation. Tickets the way they give them, that means say all parliamentarian them, all big people the way they get connection for America, they give them ticket, me then give them for people, they me then come for it. That means say you as a senator, you as a member of Congress or a top government official, they give you free ticket them for give them for people them. Me then come for an area where they get cheer them for public area them, where they get cheer them. Those ticket them no be invitation. So this type of low class quarter lobbies them, they fit get those type of ticket them, give them for somebody like Raymond Akosong Raymond where they for AGOVC. Me come for the. You know mean I say they don't invite the AGOVC. You know me say they get official invitation. Those tickets then don't even have names written on them. If they have name, it will be written by somebody, not an official invitation. If the AGOVC had an invitation letter, they could have put it out there. They don't have it. That's why they didn't put it out there. They called this man to come and speak because he's a white man. They think our people are so primitive that they will buy it because he's a white man. Even if they are invited there, it does not mean anything. So if they come to lie to our people, if they can't lie for our people, say they invite them for the, where they not invite them for the first place, that is a sign of weakness. That is a sign of desperation. That is a sign that they don't have credibility. That is a sign that they are selling people false hope. Because if your diplomatic victory is an invitation to the White House, and you are not even able to be seen amongst people who matter in America, then that has a lot to tell the people about your status vis-a-vis the United States of America. So now this is the AGOVC proving that they were invited in the White House for the inauguration of Donald Trump, outside, not even inside the hall, standing on the quarter, talking to a journalist. They cannot even organize a journalist to even understand or promote what they are claiming that they were there for, to participate in the inauguration of Donald Trump as invitees. But the journalist basically was saying, no one to talk about which one they talk about. So it just be so ridiculous. Say the AGOVC become this type of pam-pam-bay laughing stock. We used to sit, when I was with them, we used to make fun of Sako Ekome, of behaving and pulling out this type of atalaku. So the ADF would make this type of atalaku. Go stand for us with one man. Cause on one African journalist, me can talk for them. The journalists have not even know their story where they try for promoter. Maybe we'll listen for this ridiculous interview where the Rango Meters on person me interview them, organized probably by the lobby. Now the man is where the toxic one can give Ambazonia independence. The one will believe it. You wanna listen?
A historic first, and it is my honor to be a part of the council who our firm represents. I also represent the Biafra Republic government.
Okay,
exile.
so he's from the Amazonian.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, talk to us. It's a comeback for Donald Trump. What do we expect? Do we expect something better for him?
Yes, of course, especially for us, the Ambazonian people. It would please the Nigerian and Biafran public to understand.
Let's talk about Trump. Let's talk about Trump.
Well, even the journalists they say, let's talk about Trump. We are not here to talk about Ambazonia. You are not even recognized by a journalist as presenting Ambazonia. And the topic, you're present there, you try to use this thing to do propaganda. You don't even know how to do propaganda. If you want to do a talaku, call some professionals there to help you people. So this is the big embarrassment. That even a journalist, you cannot even arrange small atalaku for next stick for people them with the journalists. Because no one can prove Ambazonia say they don't invite una, so una go for them to give interview. This is now your own diplomatic offense. Propaganda within your own people. Instead of doing the hard work necessary to attain a political objective, you people are doing this type of silly thing. It is an insult to our intelligence that they can think that they can pull off such as scams. So maybe we'll listen again, maybe we'll not hear. Journalists say no. how they trick the journalists to interview them and so that they can record this type of thing to show people that they have a diplomatic presence in America. It's so silly. This thing has some stupidity. So now the AGOVC, they approved this one here.
For us, the Ambazonian people, it would please the Nigerian and Biafran public to understand.
Let's talk about Trump. Let's talk about Trump.
Of course, we are here because of our own interest, right?
Okay.
We have a mutual understanding with the United States government, and
Akoson Raymond say, AGOVC, or we have a mutual understanding with the United States government. How? This type of lies are counterproductive in diplomacy. What we do when we do this type of propaganda is that you help the Cameroon government instead, because they will take this clip, go and show the American government officials and tell them not to meet with Ambazonian officials because the Ambazonians misinterpret such meetings and propagate it as legitimizing their own activity. It is counterproductive. You don't lie about a country. You don't lie about a new administration in this manner. Because when you lie like that, you actually undermine real potential to make progress with Donald Trump to advance the rights of our people back home. Or for what? You are losing that big opportunity we have with Donald Trump because you want to do cheap propaganda. Your main focus is the popularity amongst your own people, to try to maintain your own image as a relevant organization at the expense of real effort that we can have with Donald Trump, especially with the position of Thibault Nagy, which he has announced that he's been considered as a potential Trump appointee. He's not yet appointed, but he's a potential Trump appointee. What we in PRAP has done, we have actually engaged with Thibault Nagy and many other people within the Trump administration and sent an official letter to Donald Trump himself months ago, to engage with him and sell our peace plan paper, our proposition. So any other group who have their rights to also access and lobby the Trump administration should do so responsibly, not cheap propaganda that undermines genuine possibilities to push the agenda of our people and their right. So maybe we hear the Atalaku Marijuana again. It's so funny, so ridiculous, so silly.
of our own interest, right?
Okay.
We have a mutual understanding with the United States government, and what we want Trump to do for the Amazonian people is to speed up and remove Cameroon from colonizing Amazonia.
Okay. So we begin to get a feedback from leaders.
So the journalists said no even want to continue the conversation. So the AGOVC should stop lying. Don't lie. It doesn't pay. The devil is the one that goes out there to lie. Stop selling false hope for our people. If you have a genuine roadmap that can give us independence, lay it out there. But the lack of that map, the lack of any approach that can give us independence cannot be substituted by such cheap propaganda that makes our people to rely on things or organizations for an objective that organization cannot deliver. Ayabacho, who is the head of the AGOVC, is in prison to show you that their policy is a failed one. His members of his organization are being investigated to show you that it's a failed organization. We should push for real hope. So, fellow Ambazonians, I have a written statement which I want to address to our people vis-a-vis what has been provoked by such presentation and lies from the AGOVC. It's very important that I address this, and this also will answer some questions that have been posed to me in the general forum of the APJ, where Ambazonian activists like PK came out to ask me, how do we distinguish between real Ambazonian, genuine Ambazonian fighters who are fighting properly and following guidelines or respecting the norms of war, and those rook elements who are doing the kidnapping for ransom, the excesses that we have seen that have been championed by the AGOVC. And I have a written answer to that, which will also put in place a response to the propaganda being done by the AGOVC. And I'll read it because I write it down so that I will not miss any point. The struggle for Ambazonia independence has reached a critical juncture where the continuation of armed resistance no longer serves the interests of the people it seeks to liberate. I'll read it again so that you understand. The struggle for Ambazonian independence has reached a critical juncture where the continuation of armed resistance no longer serve the purpose of liberating our people. While the Declaration of Independence in 2018 by Ayok Tabi inspired hope and mobilized widespread support, the current reality demands us to re-evaluate our strategy to pursue the interests of our people and their aspiration. Ayok Tabi Declaration of Ambazonian Independence in 2018 marked a significant moment in our struggle, the galvanizing the hope of millions of Ambazonians. However, it is now evident that there is no chance for that independence declaration to be recognized by any country globally. Over the years, not a single nation or international body has formally acknowledged Ambazonian state, despite extensive advocacy and sacrifices that we have demanded from our people. This harsh reality is a failure that we must accept and move forward. The lack of recognition underscores the geopolitical realities that cannot be ignored. The international system prioritizes stability and territorial integrity of existing states. Cameroon, as a member of the African Union and the United Nations, enjoys significant diplomatic backing, making the recognition of Ambazonia virtually impossible. To continue pursuing independence through force, despite these insurmountable odds, is denying the truth and perpetuating the suffering of our people in an endless manner. Accepting this failure is not weakness. It is the first step towards building a new strategy that prioritizes our well-being as Southern Cameroonians and the possibility of making progress even in negotiation with La République du Cameroon. While there is a clear distinction between disciplined fighters and rogue groups engaged in kidnapping, killings, and extortion, the reality is that armed resistance inherently emboldens and legitimizes these rogue actors. So, this is something I want to expatiate before I continue to read my speech. Ebenezer Akwanga, Ayabachu, Siseko Ayok Tabi, and many of our established personalities have always said that what one Ambazonian group does, or one personality or one activist does, affects everybody because we are all interconnected. So one action by a rogue groups definitely affects the actions of legitimate groups. So legitimate groups' actions also affects rogue groups. So the groups that are legitimate and are doing a good job, they instead give those who are doing the rogue job legitimacy, embolden them to continue the activity. So they are all interlinked. Their presence undermines the moral credibility of the struggle. These rogue groups alienates the population. It strengthens the enemy's narrative of labeling all freedom fighters as terrorists by continuing to support even the good groups. We inadvertently empower bad actors who exploit chaos for personal gain. So by supporting genuine Ambazonian groups, you also actually support those who are doing the bad things because they are all interlinked. That is why I have taken the position as a leader for PRAP and to push it as a leader for our struggle, for all his hostility to be halted because of the actions and consequences of those rogue groups. Armed attacks on Cameroon military no longer advance our cause. Instead, they provide justification for increased militarization and repression. The continued cycle of violence erode trust within the international community and amongst Ambazonians themselves. It also strengthens Cameroon's argument for Cameroon's military presence, as it portrayed them as necessary force to maintain law and order and counter violence. Any concession that could be obtained through armed struggle have already been exhausted. Over the years, the use of force have failed to deliver significant progress, and the cost of continuing the fight now outweighs the potential benefit. Rather, the clinging to the strategy that has reached its limits, the focus must now shift to diplomatic offenses, unity amongst our people, and constructive engagement. Progress can only be achieved by appealing to the moral conscience of the international community and fostering a shared humanity. Non-violent advocacy, dialogue, and sustained diplomatic effort offer a more viable route to achieve concession and the protecting of the right of our people than the armed violence. The global community is more likely to respond to a movement grounded in peace and justice than a one made by violence and division. The Declaration of Independence in 2018 was a bold step, but it lacked recognition. That is a reality we can no longer ignore. Continue to fight under the guise of an unrecognized independence only deepens the struggle, the suffering of our people, and perpetuate the division in our society. Ending the use of force is not a surrender, but a strategic and moral decision that prioritizes the welfare of our people and the legitimacy of our cause. By stepping away from violence and focusing on peaceful advocacy, we can reclaim the moral high ground, delegitimizes rogue actors, and pave the way for meaningful progress. Independence may still be our ultimate aspiration, but it must be pursued through methods that honor the dignity of the people and inspire global solidarity. So, fellow Ambazonians, that is why we have been able to succeed to take our case in the United Nations, because of this approach. That is how we have succeeded to engage and get even the attention of the Cameroon government to reconsider and to keep the negotiation table open, because of abandoning hostility and failed policies or failed approach that has already exhausted concession that we can be made through that means. This is our reality. Accepting this reality is not surrendering. To say that we have failed to have the independence declared by Siseko recognized is not a matter to be ashamed of. It is the right thing to do. It is the bold thing to do. We do so as a matter of strength, not weakness, because we show that we put the priorities of our people ahead of ourselves. So, fellow Ambazonians, I must say that the AGOVC, which I was part of their delegation that went to Europe, in Spain, in the Basque Country, obtained a fundamental success when on the 9th of June 2019, the Parliament of the Basque Country in Spain voted and adopted in their parliament a resolution that is titled Institutional Declaration on the Ambazonian Conflict. So, as an institution in Spain, for the first time, a parliament, a legal and formal parliament in the European Union, make a declaration where it is titled Institutional Declaration on the Ambazonian Conflict. That declaration did not give us independence. They did not recognize our independence. I was part of the lobby. We talked to all the political parties in the Basque Country. But it acknowledged for the first time the situation as a conflict and even use the name Ambazonia, the Ambazonia conflict, unlike other parliaments and other government officials who would only call it the Anglophone crisis. That was a significant progress. But even in that resolution that we had in the Basque Country, it called for cessation of hostility. It appeals to the United Nations, the African Union, and the European Union to support negotiated settlement of the Ambazonian conflict. That was a big success by the AGOVC, which we should work on it. We worked on it. I push Ayabacho for us to work on this real tangible success that they have given to the Ambazonian people. By engaging positively and through those efforts and through my advice, we were able to secure a negotiation in Canada, which was the best that we ever succeeded in. I never knew that I would ever see the AGOVC becoming so petty, becoming like a scam, doing this type of a ridiculous propaganda. It's irresponsible. We must be truthful to our people. The Basque Country represented a window for us, like I used to tell Ayabacho, to understand what we can get and what we cannot get. The Basque Country, which support us, said that they cannot recognize the independence of Ambazonia. They said it clear to us, they cannot, because that is what we wanted them to do. We wanted them to recognize Ambazonians' independence and recognize us as a state. It was rejected, and we were advised to pursue our right of self-determination. And I insisted. That is why you see the AGOVC Ayabacho in his speeches now did not longer still portray us as an independent country, but a right of self-determination was now the main phrase that was being used by the AGOVC and many of our Ambazonian groups, because that is how we can legally make a way forward. Our independence have not been recognized. It has been rejected by everybody. We should recognize that. It is not a bad thing to recognize your shortcomings and adjust accordingly. Our right of self-determination is the only way we can access concession, not our right to declare independence. We have the right to declare independence, but the people also have the right not to recognize it. Nobody have recognized it. That is the reality. Nobody will recognize it. That is the reality. For us to access, to get concession, for us to move our people forward, for us to move even the aspiration for independence forward, we must access it through tangible ways that we have proposed in the peace plan paper. That peace plan paper is the only way we can ever succeed. And I urge every Ambazonian of goodwill, everyone who have made a mistake, including the AGOVC, including Sako, including Seseko, including Chris Anu, and everybody, for the sake of our people and the sake of our legacy and the sacrifices we have made so far, to reconsider their approaches in light of the reality of the war. And we should avoid creating a cocoon of our own and a reality that do not exist in the real war. I, as a chief propaganda of Ambazonia, am forced to backtrack on those things because I see the danger that is being perpetrated by those who mistake our propaganda for their reality. So we must be able to take responsibility and solve this problem. We must be part of the solution, not part of the problem to our society. We now have a common problem in ground zero, which we must all solve responsibly. Thank you, and God bless you. I hope you have benefited from this presentation. And we welcome Donald Trump as the new president of the United States. We will engage with his administration positively on the peace plan paper platform with the members that are cooperating in the APJ. We advise every Ambazonian groups to join the APJ coalition. It's an alliance for peace and justice that advocates with a clear roadmap and strategy to succeed. We have the best internationally recognized lobbyist, which is the ICO, which is an accredited United Nations organization that will help us to access the Trump's organization and let them have an ear to what we have to say. That is not going to be propaganda, it's going to be real. God bless you all.